A land of wide open spaces, golden beaches, buzzing cities, and a way of life that seems to blend relaxation with adventure. From the outside, it's easy to imagine Australia as simply a holiday destination, but for the millions who live here, it's home. Daily life in Australia carries a rhythm all its own, shaped by the climate, the culture, and the endless stretch of ocean that surrounds the continent. Mornings in Australia often begin early. In coastal cities like Sydney, Brisbane, and Perth, people are drawn outdoors before work. Some go for a jog along the waterfront, others take a swim at the beach, and plenty grab their surfboards for a quick ride on the waves before heading into the office. Fitness and outdoor living are central to the Australian lifestyle, and with long summers and mild winters, the weather certainly encourages it. By the time the workday begins, streets are already buzzing with commuters, cyclists, and those grabbing their morning coffee. And coffee here is no small thing. Australians have one of the most developed cafe cultures in the world, and a simple flat white is almost a national icon. Life in Australia can feel very different depending on where you are. In cities like Melbourne and Sydney, the lifestyle is cosmopolitan. You'll find towering office buildings, public transport filled with workers, and neighborhoods that are alive with arts, music, and food from every corner of the globe. In smaller towns, life slows down. Children still ride their bikes through quiet streets, neighbors greet one another by name, and the local pub becomes a gathering place for friends, families, and sports fans. Out in the remote outback, life looks different again. People may live on vast cattle stations, hundreds of kilometers from the nearest town, where the Royal Flying Doctor Service provides health care and children learn from home via the famous School of the Air. It's a reminder that in a country this large, lifestyles vary dramatically, but they're all tied together by a strong sense of resilience and community. Work is a big part of life, of course, but Australians are known for valuing balance. The typical work week is around 38 hours, and while people work hard, there's also an emphasis on leaving the office at a reasonable time and making space for family, fitness, and relaxation. Many workplaces are casual in culture. You'll often hear colleagues and even managers addressed by their first names. Education also plays a central role. Schools usually run from early morning until mid-afternoon, with children in uniforms and sports forming a big part of the school experience. Universities are world-renowned, drawing thousands of international students who add to the cultural mix. Food is another window into Australian life. While some might imagine a diet of only barbecues and meat pies, the truth is far more diverse. Yes, weekends often feature a classic barbecue with sausages sizzling on the grill and friends gathered in the backyard. But day-to-day meals are shaped by Australia's multicultural society. Breakfast might be avocado on toast, a sandwich is common for lunch, and dinner could just as easily be Italian pasta, Thai stir-fry, or Middle Eastern kebabs. Walking through cities like Sydney or Melbourne, you'll find Greek restaurants next to Vietnamese cafes and Indian curry houses alongside Japanese sushi bars. Food in Australia is not just about eating, it's about community, whether at a backyard gathering, a cafe, or a bustling food market. Sport, though, is perhaps the heartbeat of social life. It doesn't matter where you are, you'll find people passionate about their teams. In the summer, cricket dominates living rooms and stadiums alike. Australian rules football, known simply as AFL, is hugely popular in the southern states, while rugby league and rugby union fire up crowds in New South Wales and Queensland. And then there's surfing, which is not just a sport, but almost a philosophy of life for many Australians. The ocean calls people of all ages, from young children learning to paddle out to retirees still catching waves. On weekends, families often gather at sporting fields, watching their kids play soccer, netball, or cricket, and then finish the day with a meal together. Beyond sport, leisure time often means exploring the outdoors. Australia's natural environment is stunning, and Australians love to make the most of it. Beaches are everywhere, over 10,000 of them in fact, and they're used not just for swimming and surfing, but also for fishing, walking, or simply sitting with friends to watch the sunset. The bush, as Australians call the countryside, offers endless opportunities for camping, hiking, and road trips in camper vans. Wildlife is part of the daily scenery, from colorful parrots in city backyards to kangaroos hopping across golf courses and koalas dozing in eucalyptus trees. This close connection to nature influences how people spend their free time and how they think about sustainability. Recycling, reducing plastic, and using solar energy are becoming second nature for many households. Family and social life in Australia reflect a culture of openness and informality. Houses often have backyards where children can play, and weekends are filled with barbecues, beach outings, and sporting events. Social gatherings are laid back, friends meeting for a picnic, families sharing meals, or colleagues unwinding at the local pub after work. At the heart of it all is the Australian value of mateship, the idea of loyalty, support, and camaraderie. Whether it's lending a hand to a neighbor, rallying around during tough times, or just being there for a friend, mateship is woven deeply into the fabric of society. Of course, life in Australia has its challenges. The cost of living in major cities like Sydney and Melbourne can be high, with housing prices among the most expensive in the world. Groceries and utilities can also feel steep compared to other countries. The country's vast distances mean that traveling internationally often involves long flights, and even domestic trips can be costly. Nature, while beautiful, can also be harsh. Bushfires, floods, and extreme heat waves are part of life, especially in rural areas, and Australians have learned to adapt to these realities with a mix of preparedness and resilience. Yet despite the challenges, Australia is consistently ranked as one of the most livable countries in the world. It offers safety, freedom, world-class healthcare, and a lifestyle that prioritizes balance. For some, the joy is in walking barefoot along the beach after work. For others, it's in gathering with friends for a barbecue, or simply enjoying a good cup of coffee at a local cafe. It's a place where work and leisure are balanced, where traditions and multiculturalism blend seamlessly, and where the outdoors is never far away. The Australian lifestyle is about more than the beaches and the barbecues. It's about connection, to nature, to family, to community, and to the simple pleasures of everyday life. It's about finding joy in both the big adventures and the small moments. And whether you're in the middle of Melbourne's busy streets, a quiet country town, or a remote outback station, you'll find that same spirit, the spirit of living fully, freely, and with a smile. That's life in Australia, a place where the sun, the sea, and a strong sense of community shape the rhythm of daily living. Australian women, past, present, and future. Australia is a land of contrasts, vast deserts, ancient cultures, modern cities, and rugged coastlines. But beyond its landscapes lies a deeper story, the story of its women. From the First Nations elders to trailblazing leaders, Australian women have played a powerful role in shaping the country's identity. Part 1. Ancient Roots. For over 60,000 years, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander women have been the backbone of their communities. As custodians of culture, knowledge, and family, they carried wisdom passed down through generations. Women were healers, storytellers, and leaders in their own right. Their deep connection to the land ensured survival through some of the harshest climates on Earth. Even today, many Indigenous women continue this legacy, keeping language, traditions, and culture alive. When European settlers arrived in 1788, the lives of women in Australia changed forever. Life was tough, whether you were a free settler, a convict, or a part of an Indigenous community facing dispossession. Women worked hard, often overlooked, holding families together in isolated towns and farms. But despite the hardships, Australian women began to break barriers. In 1902, Australia became the second country in the world to grant women the right to vote and stand for parliament. It was a bold move at a time when most of the world still silenced women's voices. During World War I and II, Australian women stepped up in ways that changed society forever. They worked in factories, farms, hospitals, and even served in the military. For many, it was the first time they experienced independence outside the home. These efforts paved the way for women to claim a greater role in public life, and Australia would never be the same again. Over the decades, Australian women began to shine on the global stage. In politics, Julia Gillard became the nation's first female prime minister in 2010. In science, Elizabeth Blackburn won a Nobel Prize for her groundbreaking research in medicine. In sports, legends like Kathy Freeman, an Indigenous runner, carried not just the Olympic flame but the hopes of a nation. And in arts and culture, women like Kate Blanchett, Nicole Kidman, and Margot Robbie have taken Australian talent worldwide. But beyond fame and headlines, the real story of Australian women is written in daily life. Teachers shaping the next generation, nurses caring for patients through crises, entrepreneurs building businesses from scratch, mothers balancing work, family, and community. These women reflect the true spirit of Australia, resilient, hardworking, and determined. Yet challenges remain. Women in Australia still face issues like wage inequality, underrepresentation in leadership, and gender-based violence. Movements like #MeToo and campaigns for equal pay have sparked national conversations, and Indigenous women continue to fight for recognition, rights, and respect within their own communities and across the nation. Today, Australia stands at a crossroads. The future of its women is not just about breaking barriers, but about creating balance, where every woman, regardless of background, has equal opportunities to thrive. From the deserts of the outback to the skyscrapers of Sydney, from the surf beaches of Queensland to the cultural hubs of Melbourne, women are shaping Australia's next chapter. And as history has shown, when Australian women rise, the nation rises with them. This is the story of Australian women, strong, diverse, and unstoppable. Their journey is far from over, and their future is honestly limitless. Thanks for watching.